go. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with gold stars, fighting out of and representing his hometown of Bury St. Edmunds, England. He weighed in at 11 stone, 13 and a half pounds, or 167 and one half US pounds. His fine record stands at 22 wins, only one defeat, with 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the British and Commonwealth champion, presently ranked the number 7 super middleweight contender by the WBO, introducing tonight's challenger, David Starie. And his opponent across the ring is the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with red lettering, hailing from Newbridge, Wales. His weight, 11 stone, 13 and 3/4 pounds, 167 and 3/4 US pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with 27 wins, no losses, 23 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight making the 5th defense of his title, please welcome the defending WBO Super Middleweight Champion of the World, the undefeated Joe Calzaghe. Once again, a referee in charge, John Coyle, now to give instructions, 12 rounds of championship boxing schedule.
Okay, gentlemen, I've spoken to you both. They want the highest standard of professionalism and sportsmanship. Shake hands, back to your corners, and answer the bell. Good luck.
The crowd mixed in terms of support. Starie, a flashy switch hitter who prefers to stay on the outside and utilize his boxing skills, but he doesn't mind going into the trenches and getting down and dirty. He's from England. The champion, Joe Calzaghe, the southpaw. He's a fast starter, above average hand speed. He's fast, he's slick, he's experienced. The question is, how good is he?
Calzaghe loves to start fast. That's what he's going to do. He's going to make it a barn burner right from the go. He wants to test Starie's chin as well as his heart.
Question is, can Starie take that fast approach? Already he's landed a good right hand there.
And is Starie ready for the experienced Calzaghe, who said the big difference in this fight will be that he is the heavier puncher. He says, I feel I'm going to knock him out, said Calzaghe. He said Starie can't trade with him. Yes, he's got fast hands, he's flashy, but defensively he keeps his hands low. Talking about Starie, Calzaghe said, I'll pressure Starie. He has to make plans for me, not me for him.
In fact, in the interview, I never saw a boxer so confident that he was going to knock somebody out. You know, they always say, well, if a knockout comes, not this guy. He says, I'm going out there and knock him out before 5, definitely. So let's see, certainly started out that way.
Very cool and composed, Joe Calzaghe. His opponent, Starie, doesn't feel, though, that Calzaghe has one-punch KO power. He says it's an accumulative effect. He feels he matches Calzaghe in speed. He's superior in the accuracy department, and that Calzaghe is vulnerable to the right hand, which is Starie's most effective punch.
Well, Starie throws a nice straight right hand, but Calzaghe throws a nice straight left hand. They're both reasonably susceptible to the other's best shots, but you know what? I think the difference here might be power. They're comparable in speed. The power may be the difference.
Well, that's what Calzaghe said. Starie, though, very confident against southpaws. He's never lost to one. Calzaghe not really known as an awkward southpaw, but he's a strong one.
Well, the difference in violence is considerable, like 2-to-1 right now. Calzaghe's come out to do damage. The other guy's trying to figure out what's happening here.
Starie down only once in his career against a fighter named Dean Francis. Calzaghe's never been down, pro or amateur.
You know, it's funny, too, because Starie said that was a wake-up call. Up until that point in time, he thought it was easy and realized, hey, this is a hard business.
Yeah, he called it a learning experience. Boxing a little too simple up to that point for Starie.
It was a nice straight right hand to the body by Starie. That's what he needs to do to the body and the chin.
Yeah, he's punching one at a time, one and out. He is sort of, right now, amazed by what's happening to him. Because this other guy's coming in with a lot of punches. This Calzaghe. Calzaghe means to be here for a short period of time.
No shots.
Calzaghe adding 9 pounds since yesterday's weigh-in, now 176. Just missed with that combination attempt at Calzaghe.
And he wants to fight Roy Jones. Whoa. What a mistake that might
Well,
be.
that will be a true test of one's chin, should he
Of
decide to do
someone's
that.
chin.
Yes.
That'll be a test of chin, skill, determination, and everything you have.
And heart.
We'll really find out if he has what it takes. The bell to end round one.
Alright? Okay, you're launching for slightly too far outside. Alright? You're moving it in, you're not throwing in when you're moving in. Alright? Okay, you understand? Where's the water? Where's the water? Yeah. Okay, leave it there. Okay, let a jab while you're launching stuff for shots, right, John? Okay? Listen to me, throw a jab distance, then move it. You're moving in without throwing a jab, alright? So you're coming short, you're lunging, alright? Okay? Your left hand works, straight, and bang, let it go. Alright? Okay, tap and breathe. That's a dawdle. Alright? Yeah. Okay, that's a dawdle. Come on, that's right, but you have to get your breath going. Alright? Stay the left outside with the left hand. Tap.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Loads of time.
Seconds out. Round two.
Calzaghe's corner would allow us to wear a microphone. Not the case for David Starie. You heard the voice of Joe Calzaghe's father, Enzo, in the corner there.
It never ceases to amaze me how certain fighters in fight camps think that we're going to somehow tell the other side what's going on.
Yeah. Well, he was getting good advice.
Right.
He had to step back and come in with a jab, hard with a jab. You're not jabbing enough.
You mean to say there's paranoia in boxing? Joe Calzaghe's left got through Starie's defenses a number of times in the opening round, but no real damage done.
Starie working hard inside with no return from Calzaghe.
Right.
This is the kind of fight Calzaghe wants. He wants to get Starie on the inside. Starie wants to stay on the outside and box.
Had a good idea with a right-handed Starie, but it didn't land where he wanted it to. He threw it just in counterpunch, just at the right time, and he landed, but on a shoulder, on an arm. Didn't do anything.
Right now, a rather subdued crowd of better than 20,000 settling in. Of course, perhaps saving themselves for the big event coming up. Tyson.
Oh, I don't think they should save themselves. Let it fly now. This is going to be a good little fight here. Let it get it good right now.
They may not get hoarse because they may not get long.
That's true.
But anyway, back to the business at hand midway through the second round of this WBO Super Middleweight title fight scheduled for 12.
Calzaghe not quite as effective with his rushes as he had been in the first round. The adjustments made in the corner by Starie seem to be working a little bit. His right hand's getting closer to leaning more clean, landing more cleanly. But Starie still being the effective aggressor. Excuse me, Calzaghe still being the effective aggressor.
You know, Bobby, one of the things they told him, don't go rushing in, get the jab going and move forward and settle in. And he was doing all right with that jab. Now, look what Starie's doing. See, he keeps on fighting inside.
There's a cut around the, looks like the right eye.
Yeah, right
of
at
Starie.
nick. It's more of a nick than it is anything else, but it's going to turn nasty. It's going to turn nasty. He's getting hit a lot.
See, sometimes Calzaghe rushes into Starie so much that he smothers his own punches and causes the tie-up. He gets too close and then Starie ties him up and he can't punch.
Yeah, he gets started. He can't. He's no breaks. Oh, two nice little shots. Nice little chopping left hands.
Very quick combinations by the champion. He counters very well.
Let go. Let go.
Oh, nice.
Good left hand there by Calzaghe, and he continues to pour it on. An overhand right followed by an overhand left by Calzaghe, showing his entire repertoire. As the bell sounds to end round two.
Still
good finish for Calzaghe.
Still in command.
Swing deep, honey.
Three deep. Every time you're chucking that short right hand straight through the middle, you've landed. 4 times you threw it in the round and you landed every time with it, okay?
Keep moving away from his left hand. Keep moving to your left. Hear me, David? Keep moving to your left.
Spin to your left, don't worry about me. Do you want to drink?
He starts swinging those shots. Yeah, you're listening to me. Keep away from it this time as he swings.
Calzaghe needs to throw those combinations here. We'll see a perfect example of it. He likes to work his way, and he's aggressive. A nice counter combination. not real big punches, but pretty accurate and very quick. And when you don't see them coming, they hurt that much more.
10 seconds.
Starrie told us he has had some difficulty over the years with cuts. Little cut around the right eye, opening up in that second round. We'll see if it worsens as time goes on.
Well, Calzaghe's got this fight going his way. I mean, he's working very well, and he's inflicting damage little at a time, but it is going his way.
Thus far, this fight has been fought at pretty close range. And that is to Calzaghe, the champion's advantage. Calzaghe now entering in with tough body shots.
And springing right back up.
He's starting to use the right jab as a measuring tool. You can see him starting to load up a little more each time to the body and to the head with the left hand, sometimes straight, sometimes looping it. He's starting to get his range.
And Starrie's defense at times, as we see here, a little too lax. He needs more sense of urgency.
Well, he's got to put out a stiff jab to keep this guy off him. He hadn't done that. See, there's no jab there. He waits till he gets in close to grab him, fight inside, but he's not getting any points that way.
And the knock on Calzaghe prior to his victory over Chris Eubank for the title a few years ago is that he just didn't fight a good caliber of competition. But Starrie, as I said earlier, is pretty highly regarded here for his boxing technique, but not for his defense over here in England.
Starrie doesn't have anybody on his resume of who's who, though. Chris Eubank and Robin Reed are on Calzaghe's in the winning column, so there's something to be said for facing two guys that had world titles, beating both.
There has been a lot of criticism of Calzaghe here locally. He has been troubled by injuries to his elbow, his hand, and his back over the last few years. And he claims that has been his excuse.
I haven't fought since June. I mean, we had him on a show that fell through here. I mean, you know, why all that? I mean, it's not hard to figure out. He hadn't got that kind of heart for boxing per se, you know, to really get back.
He was supposed to fight tough New Jersey fighter Omar Shika, who's very young, about 22, very strong, still learning his craft. Wouldn't mind seeing that fight. In fact, if Calzaghe wins here, that might be his next fight.
I was going to say, if he wins here, I think that's what we'll see.
And that'll be an exciting
maybe
fight.
on Showtime.
Shika comes to fight. Calzaghe obviously comes to fight.
But he's got to win here. Strange things happen in boxing.
Again, Starrie now looking to stay on the outside to keep his distance, but he keeps getting lured in by the champion. Calzaghe right of your screen, Starrie left. We approach the final 20 seconds of round 3.
Starrie's corner, they said that right hand's landing when you throw it, but you're not throwing enough of it in this round. He didn't make that much of an effort to throw it more often.
Step back. I'll hit you on the bike. On yourself.
David Starie 22-1 with 15 knockouts. Calzaghe undefeated, 27-0, 23 knockouts. His 5th title defense. He's 5-0 in world title fights.
Get in a minute, breathing. Fuck it off, please.
Throw your shots before you go down. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Don't worry about that. You can win them a lot easier. Alright? You're making hard work. Right? You're making hard work. Right? You're not flowing. Not flowing. Don't worry about that. Concentrate. Get some bad on his face. Alright? Alright? You're not throwing your punches, alright? You don't want to fight. You just want to tangle in. Alright? Throw your punches.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Come on. Right, okay, alright. Let those lightning works come from outside.
Seconds out. Round 4.
Here we go, round 4 for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. This is a title that used to belong to a very popular fighter named Irish Steve Collins, very popular in Boston as well as over here in Europe. Fought a lot of fights in Boston. Then came Chris Eubank, then came Joe Calzaghe, and here we are as he defends against David Starie of England. Calzaghe, a Welshman.
Well, they sort of got him on the corners, and you slept a little bit. You're not throwing those punches in the 3rd round as much. He still won the round, as far as I'm concerned, by a narrow margin, but he wasn't as effective as he had been before. 1st and 2nd, he was much more effective. it's like he's slowing down.
See what he does there? He has very quick combinations that don't have real power on them, but they're effective and they sometimes land. And once you have a hand in your face, it makes you think about something, and you can't do anything with the hand in your face.
And fellas, the crowd beginning to grow impatient, as you can hear in the background right now. They want more action. And Calzaghe, normally an action fighter, but perhaps it's the style of Starie that's setting him off a little bit.
Yeah, Starie's not willing to stand there and go toe-to-toe with him. And that's causing a little bit of a slow fight here instead of the fiery beginning. Oh, nice.
Beautiful counter left hand by the champion.
Very nice.
They started out fast and now it's turning into a cat and mouse chess game.
They're talking a lot to each other. They must be very friendly. I mean, or else they're saying
or not
nasty things.
They're auditioning for blow-by-blow in color.
Well, he's asking her what's it like to run into a fiery house. You know, Starie is a fireman. And as he says, between a fireman and a boxer, hard to ensure.
I asked him what's more difficult, and he said fighting in the ring. Some people might disagree. These two guys have known each other a long time, back to their amateur careers, so they have a lot of history between them.
On the inside, you'll see quite often that both fighters, when they tie up, hit each other in the ear behind the head a little bit. Referee hasn't warned anybody, not even one time. Very unusual.
The third man of the ring, John Coyle, out of Northampton, England. Oh, right off the top of the head, left hook by Joe Calzaghe. He's got Starie pinned up against the ropes in the corner, but Starie in no hurry to get out of there.
Nice work by Calzaghe, landing hard shots in combinations.
Now, I don't know if Starie was looking to play possum or he was just trapped in the corner, but it didn't seem that he was anxious to remove himself.
He didn't necessarily appear to be playing possum, but what it looked like Steve was trying to do was time Calzaghe with one of those leaps in and maybe land a home run right hand.
He didn't do it. He hit an awful lot.
His strategy did not work for Starie.
Right down, put your short down. What's this take down? Good back, mate. Good back, mate. Get down here, right? I want more of those 5 Bs you down there. I want fucking more of those, right? All right? You hear me? Saying baby call. I don't want something going on here. You play too long. You play with shots. All right? All right, you're not.
Calzaghe, ever the aggressor, always pushing Starie backward, works him into the corner here, and now he has him pretty much where he wants him. His speed is just as good, if not better. His power is better. And he's landing, and Starie really can't get out of there and doesn't time any of the shots. There was a fair right hand attempt, but very effective for the champion. Here's another look at it from a different angle. He compromises Starie, giving him nowhere to go. Quick hand speed, counters, one right hand in the process. He loses that combination, does the challenger.
Round number 5 scheduled for 12 for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship, 168 pounders. Joe Calzaghe from Wales on the right of your screen. David Starie out of England on the left.
Starie better get started doing something. This fight's just eluding him. Just a little bit at a time, it's just oozing away. He better do something. He better stand and fight. That's the thing you better do.
He's being too relaxed. In fact, he said that he's very relaxed and actually enjoying the occasion. Says he feels no pressure because all the attention has been on Tyson and Francis, but he had better get his act together here soon.
He said he feels a lot more pressure in front of his hometown crowd. Well, I don't know if it's pressure that he needs to feel, but he needs to feel a sense of urgency because the rounds are slipping by and he's not on the winning end of many.
Calzaghe now flicking the jab. There's a combination to the head of David Starie.
Very fast flurry of 3 or 4 punches. They weren't hard, but they're impressive when they land. And point getters. Forget.
3 judges working the fight. Billy Lurch from Chicago, Robert Ramirez from San Juan, and Mickey Vann from Leeds, England. The referee doesn't score. Unlike in the main event where the referee, Roy Francis, no relation to Julius Francis, will be the lone scorer. No judges. That's a non-title fight in England. Those are the rules.
This is the way a championship fight should be ruled. The countries should be completely, divorced from the fight. There's only one country, England, for both fighters, and then the other one's Puerto Rico and America. That's perfect.
Both holding. Come out. Let go.
Oh, a good straight right hand out of nowhere by David Starie, and that got the attention of the champion, Calzaghe. That was his best punch of the fight.
But one and done, Steve. He needs to follow it up with a left hook or maybe even come back with a couple of jabs and another full combination. He's not doing enough. Starie just doesn't have a lot of combinations available tonight.
He has no fire. He's a fireman without a fire.
It's one at a time. He's looking for the one and get out.
Good line.
Thank you very much.
Don't mention
Let me tell you, this is the 5th round. How depressing is it that it's been 5 rounds before you mentioned that was one good punch at this Starie line. One good punch in 5 rounds. That's depressing. I mean, this guy's got to start to fight.
Crowd waiting for more action from their hometown guy, David Starie. The whistling, the boos haven't begun yet. It's just been very, very quiet.
It's a miracle they haven't started whistling. They're denoting that they're unhappy.
Well, maybe someone needs to sound the alarm for David Starie.
It's 2 or 3 bell alarm.
Sounds like he needs one right here to get the juices flowing as the bell sounds. Coming up next, our main event, Tyson versus Francis. Into the dressing room of the former undisputed champion Mike Tyson we shall go. Reaction to Tyson has been overwhelmingly favorable with a core of protests. The people are not supporting the local guy, Julius Francis. There's Mike getting taped up. Tyson's been embraced by the British, buoyed by the large enthusiastic crowds he attracts. Criticized the United States, where many have grown weary of him, saying everybody is money hungry. He doesn't get the respect he gets here. Might even tonight, as does this packed house at the MEN Arena, awaiting the marquee matchup, Mike Tyson versus Julius Francis.
Round 6.
Round 6 of the WBO Super Middleweight title. It has been all Joe Calzaghe, the defending champion. They're both wearing black trunks, but Starie, the challenger, has stars down the side, apropos.
And sea stars from time to time.
The tattoos on his right arm are the names of his children, in case you were wondering.
Beautiful right hand by Starie. Stepped right in, right down the pipe, and the champion took it squarely on the nose.
Little tiny bit of blood on the nostril, but not much, of the champion, Calzaghe, who has a remarkably straight nose for a fighter.
Starie hit him with the great right hand. No left hook, no combinations following it up.
Yeah, after that right hand, you would think he'd mount a little attack just in case he did some damage with that, but he didn't.
We haven't seen one so-called flurry from the challenger, David Starie. Straight left by Calzaghe, blocked by Starie. Now Starie beginning to open it up a little more, showing that sense of urgency he needs. Let's see if it continues. He's just fighting in spurts. I'm also waiting for the movement and the variety of technique and the jabs that we've heard so much about with regard to Starie, but he has been stymied. More blood. Right eye of David Starie. That gets worse.
That's in the brow now.
Yeah, that cut's looking bad now.
Yeah, because it could creep down into the eye and cloud his vision now. To make matters worse for the guy.
Yeah, as if it isn't bad enough, he's got a cut now on top of it.
Oh, it's very bad now, Ferdy.
And let me tell you, he did what Bobby just pointed out. He looked at the referee and said, hey, this guy just hit me in the back of the head.
I know, he hasn't warned him one time, and they've both done it quite a bit.
And you hear the crowd reaction as they get wind of the cut. If a fight is stopped by an accidental headbutt before the end of the 4th round, the fight is a technical draw. Obviously, we are beyond that now in round 6. And after the end of the 4th round, they go to the scorecards.
Beautiful straight left hand by the champion. He is aiming for that eye.
He is teeing off on that eye, and he's hitting it a lot.
It is target practice now for Joe Calzaghe. as the eye gets worse and worse. David Starie's right eye damaged and becoming a huge factor here now.
Country fucking loud. All the country.
There's nothing wrong with it. Don't worry about that, Dave. That was a cracking, that last.
Take a look at that really nice right hand by Starie, right down the middle, and then he allows himself to be tied up. He should have worked there. Snapped the champion's head back very well. There's a little shot in the back of the head by Starie, something I've been talking about. The referee hasn't said a word. And you can see a little bit of a look like, why didn't you take care of that? Why didn't you warn him?
Positive thinking. Come on, you can do this.
David, you listening to me? Now calm down and do your fucking business.
Right.
You caught him with a fucking shot there. It's not this fucking enemy off his shoulder.
Come on, you've got to work
Do the
for
same
it.
again.
You've got to work for it.
Okay,
Come on.
he's going to run right onto him, David. Now listen. Ready? Go on, Chen.
Round 7.
Come on.
The left hand causing that bad cut around the right eye of David Starie. It was not the result of a headbutt.
Okay, sort it out.
As we mentioned, Starie has had a bit of a history of cutting in the past. This has not been an overwhelmingly impressive performance by the champion Joe Calzaghe, who could take on Omar Shika someday.
The champion throws a straight left hand, which is pretty good, but he also throws one, he kind of loops it around the side, almost like a left hook, although southpaws technically don't throw left hooks. His is hookish or overhandish, and it scrapes across that eye and tears it open a little more each time.
Nice shot.
Starie just walked right into an overhand left.
Oh, did he ever?
Again, his defense a problem.
His corner, Calzaghe's corner to him, calm down and get down to work. You know what you got to do here. Don't just be slapping around. I think he's done pretty well. He's taken every round and cut his opponent. I don't think he can do better. Yes, you could. You could knock him out, but...
And he has 23 knockouts in 27 fights.
This is pay-per-view in England. They need a few rounds to make everybody happy. They're getting them here.
It should be the record.
Starie's resorted to moving, stopping and jumping in with a big left hook or right hand, hoping to catch the champion. It's not working.
Again, back of the head, real hard by both fighters. Come on, that shouldn't be.
Calzaghe now bores in, but Starie ties him up.
There it is again.
Starie on the inside.
There it is again.
There's holding and hitting going on, as you can see.
Well, apparently the referee does not think that's a foul, or else he'd have said something.
He gave one little warning on the inside to both of them earlier, but it was very, perfunctory warning. He just kind of phoned that one in.
Right, step back. Are you told? Step back.
Both now seem to be taking a bit of a break. You hear some booing from the crowd. There's a hitting behind the back of the head by Calzaghe. A countering shot behind the head by Starie. So rabbit punching continues. And that is a no-no.
Well, there's no variety here. It's the same thing round after round after round. Calzaghe eating him up for one round after the other, but not doing enough damage to stop him.
The crowd continues to grow restless.
I say the eye has not gotten any worse. Ooh.
Well, a moral victory, if anything, for Starie in this round. You hear the reaction from the crowd, and it's not a good one. They are really anxious for the main event coming up next between Mike Tyson and Julius Francis, the homegrown product from England. We're going to take you into the dressing room of local product Julius Francis, who trained and lived at an army camp near London while Tyson was housed at a plush downtown London hotel. There is Francis in the dressing room while Tyson trained in a chandeliered ballroom and in luxurious surroundings, and periodically went off to exorbitant shopping sprees. Francis was in a small room with no phone and no TV. He needed permission from his manager to go for milk and bread. He actually looked forward to training to break up the monotony. Quite a contrast for the two fighters who square off later tonight.
Come on.
Second round. Round 8.
Round 8. Let's see if the action picks up here. You guys, it's been fairly dull up to this point. Good left by Calzaghe there. Another one, a pounding left hand. He continues to pound away with the left.
The referee's telling them both now, no behind the head.
There it is. Finally, John Coyle gets into the middle of it.
But it's Starie that likes to fight inside. He's not doing anything inside. He's got some uppercuts going inside, but they don't hurt. They don't do anything. Oh, there it is.
Well, thus far, Starie showing that he is not in the class of a Joe Calzaghe. And let's face it, while Calzaghe is basically winning every round, he's not exactly astonishing the people here.
Now, see, there were a couple of reasonable counters by Starie. He blocked Calzaghe and went in hook, left hook, right hand, but then held. You have to follow up, especially when you're this far behind.
I think the word would be that Calzaghe is not convincing. He has not convinced me of his title.
He's just doing enough.
When he comes to the States to fight American fighters, he better be a lot better than this.
Well, with all due fairness, it's a difficult fight to look that good in the way they hold as soon as they get close to one another. So it'd be better to judge him with someone who's going to fight back a little more freely.
Well, I think he'll get that in the States.
Well, I'm sure he will.
Calzaghe told us he has been struggling at 168. He wants to move up to 175.
Well, if he weighs that way this morning, what difference does it make?
176 just prior to the fight.
Yeah, so what's he talking about? That's what he weighs.
He doesn't talk about cleaning up the division, and it's been a nondescript division at that.
I remember the old days when we had to weigh in the morning of the fight, and I would weigh 168. By fight time, I weigh 180. Same day.
You're kidding.
No.
That is unbelievable.
We used to struggle to take the water off and then rehydrate so much so that we gained 10 pounds the same day.
When Bobby was fighting, I was commenting on NBC. I always said, there's a guy that's full of water. Bobby would slosh in the ring, 10 pounds of water one day.
As we head to the final 40 seconds of round 8, WBO Super Middleweight title at stake. The rhythmic applause now beginning to build here at the MEN Arena to try to get something going here. Calzaghe just got it in the nose, but not from a punch, from a shoulder. And now the booing rages on. Calzaghe chasing Starie around the ring, and it's really getting crazy now.
Right. Okay, we go.
Oh, a good left hand there by Starie. He countered, but Calzaghe didn't even flinch.
They both hit each other pretty well there. Calzaghe made an effort to initiate the attack, and Starie countered him immediately, but then caught a couple counters back.
Calzaghe showing a good chin as he just shrugged it off. And listen to this crowd.
Frankie Warren's over there.
And then you've got to want to hurt this kid. Come on, it's no good dancing around it. Listen, never mind about that. You've got to be positive thinking. Come on, you want to be champion.
Watch Starie get crushed by an overhand left from the champion, and here they just hold on to each other, do a little hitting on the inside, holding and hitting, a little batting behind the ears, behind the head. It's been a lot of the fight. That's how it's been spent in the clinches, hitting each other in the ears and behind the head. So later in the round, we're going to see a nice big right hand jumping in with the right hand left hook by the challenger, but gets tied up once again on the inside. A very frustrating fight for both guys, I'm sure.
Promoter Frank Warren visibly upset at Joe Calzaghe.
Boy, he came over there and really gave him a chewing out.
He reamed him. He said, work in there.
Get started.
Well, he knows how important this is to Calzaghe's future, getting this worldwide exposure here under the spotlight. First time on American television, is going all around the world as well.
He's winning, he's just not making the definitive statement that he wants to make.
Exactly, as Bertie pointed out, he's just not doing the job convincingly here. He's not decisive enough, and that's what he's got to do. We'll see if that's the fire he needed to get lit under him.
Well, I bet Roy Jones has taken note of my comment that he wants to fight Roy Jones, and he's licking his lips and trying to get in touch on long distance phone right now. When do I get this guy, please?
Right, come out.
There have been no knockdowns thus far in the fight. As mentioned earlier, Calzaghe has never been off his feet. Starie just once in his only loss back in '97 to a fellow named Dean Francis in 6th round TKO in defense of his British super middleweight crown. But he's 8-0 with 5 knockouts since that lone defeat, including a first-round knockout of Danny Juma in 106 seconds. But certainly a different story here as this crowd again responds negatively.
Now right here on the inside, Starie wants to fight, and it's the champion holding.
But he's done that the whole fight. Once he gets him close, it's Starie that punches him close. But then outside, he's killing him. If it was just clinches, Starie would be winning the fight.
Now Starie up on the balls of his feet, looking a little more peppery, starting to show that movement that he is known for here in England. But he's got to produce. He's got to throw some punches.
I was going to say, the movement's one thing, got to punch with that movement.
Exactly.
You can't beat him by looking good.
This is like a broken record, you know, like you've heard it, it gets click and it goes all over again. Outside, it's Calzaghe. Inside, it's there, and they reset and they do it all over again. Over and over and over and
Starie missing and missing and missing again.
Good bobbing and weaving there by the champion, but he didn't fire. He made Starie miss. He should have unloaded on him.
You know, Bobby, I get the feeling neither one are hurting each other. There's no hurt in this fight. This is a ballet here. Nobody's hurting each other. Nobody's wearing each other down.
Yeah, it's just like a rough dance.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a kind of break dance. Nobody's getting hurt. They're just
the lambada, the forbidden dance.
The forbidden. Oh, that's very good.
David Starie, about the best thing you can say about him is they did a good job on that cut.
They did that.
So when you're behind by that many rounds, you can't lay back like that and just hang out. You have to be aggressive and score.
Loud are the boos that cascade down.
Well, here's something special for your Showtime subscribers with internet access. Tonight we invite you to chat online with interim IBF Junior Welterweight Champion Zab Judah starting at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. He's ready to discuss tonight's fights with you as well as his upcoming February 12th Showtime fight against Jan Bergman. SHO.com, also your boxing web address for online scoring, Mike Tyson interviews, post-fight analysis, and more. Once again, that's URL SHO.com.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Come on, you show you boss, Joe. Come on. Get over and whack him. Come on, 3 rounds, Joe. 3 rounds. Come on.
Round 10.
Well, we hit double figures. Round 10 scheduled for 12 for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. It has been a tough nut to crack here. The fans are upset, and understandably so, because there really hasn't been that much action, and the champion Joe Calzaghe expected to look a lot better, and David Starie has been very lax with his defense and really hasn't shown that much as well.
Calzaghe's won just about every round, convincing, but barely convincing. I don't think that that the way they're going, they can do anything but go to a decision, and the decision is a foregone conclusion. Even in the corner, Calzaghe's corner has not dared to say, hey, we're losing some rounds, you better pick it up.
No, I think it's pretty clear that if this goes to decision right now, Starie cannot win. He'd have to drop the champion twice in every round just to maybe come out with a draw, and I don't think that's possible.
And he doesn't have one-punch knockout power, that's for sure. He has 15 knockouts in his 22 wins, 1 defeat. So that is very unlikely, and on top of that, Calzaghe has a very, very good chin. Look at booing getting louder and louder.
Can you hear that, Martin?
And the cut opens up once again around that right eye of the challenger Starie.
Nice right hand and left hook by Starie very early on. When the champion came out rushing Starie, Starie did a lot of holding. Now almost all the holding is being done by the champion because Starie wants to work.
We just haven't seen that excellent variety, that quick, accurate, good boxing ability, the hand and foot speed, the good technique that was advertised about David Starie.
Well, Calzaghe had this incredible confidence that he was going to knock this guy out in 5 rounds. He must be a little upset that it's going on to 10 and no sign of a knockout. Nobody even hurt.
And from tapes that I have seen of Calzaghe, he was a lot busier, a lot more active, looked a lot stronger. There was more movement, very aggressive. Not as much here tonight. And the crowd with an indication in the background.
Stop boxing! Stop boxing! Okay.
He decked Chris Eubank, a legend here in England, seconds in with a left hook to the jaw. And then he knocked him down again later in the fight en route to the championship victory.
Cut's starting to open up a little bit again, but they've done a real good job with their cut.
Starie trying a straight right hand, but it was nicely blocked by the gloves of Calzaghe.
At least it was hard. At least he was trying hard.
Yeah, that right hand had bad intentions on it.
Yeah, I mean, as usual, thing is a fluff.
10 in the books. The crowd again reacts. It's time to go inside the ropes with Bobby Ches.
We're going to take a good close look at this constant hitting behind the head. Here's one behind the head. There's one from both guys. 2 more by the champion. That's another one by Starie behind the head. It looks pretty ugly. Here they do. They clinch again. Underneath, behind the head. As soon as they get inside, behind the head. These guys don't make it. They don't even try and hide the fact that they're aiming behind the head. They're not trying to cover it up by coming across the face. They don't pull back. They just go for the back of the head.
Fuck the technique, let's go to war, right? You've got to go to war. That's all it is now, son, it's a war. It's a 2-round fucking war there, get hold of yourself. Show us what you've got in here. Show us what you've got in here.
You show him your Calzaghe now.
Seconds out. Round 11.
Well, as we head into the championship rounds, the fans are looking for more of a championship performance by Joe Calzaghe. Round 11.
And so is his corner. We picked up a little bit of that audio, and he says, we got to go to war. We've got to go to war.
I'm not sure I understand that he has to go to war. I think he's won the fight, the champion, but that wasn't looking great.
I don't think that was in the champion's corner. I think that was in...
You're talking about Starie?
Yeah, I was talking... in Starie's corner, we picked up the sound with this guy's microphone there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And he said, we got to go to war. We're losing this fight.
Then I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Declare war.
Well, these guys are the opening act for the main event. And unfortunately, they're looking like an opening act. They should be more impressive.
What a shame on national, international television, and you put on a performance like this. What a shame for both fighters.
Well, if he finds David Starie to have an awkward style, Calzaghe as champion should be able to solve him.
Absolutely.
But it looks like this will certainly go to a decision with 2 rounds to go unless something wild occurs. Well, if you're looking forward to seeing more of a display of power, perhaps you can expect it in the upcoming fight. And certainly don't expect that fight to go this many rounds.
I clearly wouldn't expect it to go 1/10 of this many rounds.
Most people don't think it will go outside 1. In fact, Frank Maloney, the mayoral candidate in London and the manager of Julius Francis, went public and said if it goes outside 1 round, it'll be a moral victory. And this is Francis's manager.
Yeah, on that he'll run for parliament. On the do-nothing ticket.
Well, that is not an overflow of confidence, not a glowing endorsement for the Englishman.
A little bit of a better series there for the challenger. Starting to get to Calzaghe a little bit, but way too little and certainly too late.
But he is trying to fight more, just like his corner said. Declare war. You got to get started. You cannot win this fight.
Both fighters looking weary now.
You know the height of disillusionment when you get home and they lock you out of the firehouse. They throw you out. You can't go to any fires.
That's when you really know you're having a bad night.
Yes, we have a fire, but you can't come.
Less than 30 seconds, round 11. Almost every punch by Starie is warded off by the champion.
And Calzaghe's punches don't seem to have any effect on Starie. They're not weakening him. They're not making him woozy. Nothing.
Left hook there by Starie.
Starie's getting better action now. He needs to do this very early. This is far too late.
Oh my.
Cascade of boos grows louder.
Last round coming up. You hear me?
Stick down on the floor. Stick down there.
You want to win this, you're going to have to not win it. You want to do that? Hey? Well, are you going to try?
Good plan, man.
Well, get out there and throw the punches, David. You won't do it by dancing around him and throwing the head shot. You've got to tuck your chin down, get in there and let
Have a chair out. You've got 2 punches. Don't let your arms go round. Follow me and lift him up. That's what you do. You don't do more. You don't do more. You get a bully with him.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Good last round now.
Seconds out.
I think I heard Gordon Holmes ask Starie, are you going to try? Well, let's hope so.
What happened?
Are you going to try, he asked him. Well, both fighters have gone 12 rounds 3 times. They're both 3-0. Both of Starie's last 2 fights went the distance. Looks like he'll make it 3 in a row. But this time, he's about to end up the loser.
Yeah, they don't have that fire. You know, in the old days in the Garden, where they used to bet right at ringside, when the betting was that the fight would go the distance, and the bettors were all excited because they would start screaming, "Fight like brothers! Fight like brothers!" This is the whole 12 rounds of Fight Like Brothers. They didn't have to holler here. They had a distance fight right from the beginning.
Unfortunately so.
Stop boxing! Stop boxing! What's the back of the head? Don't turn your back on it. Box.
Some more
Only box.
WWF tactics there. There goes the cut again around the right eye of Starie. It opens up and streaks down the right cheek.
Yeah, that left hand's finding a little bit of a home right near the cut. Champion not being as effective as he wanted to, but effective enough to do what I think should be a convincing decision. Last couple of rounds have been the better rounds for Starie, but he is, like I said, far too late to make a difference.
There's no question Calzaghe is winning the fight in convincing fashion, but this is not exactly what he had in mind in terms of impressing the American and worldwide audience. And the crowd here, the sellout crowd at the MEN Arena.
Calzaghe's nicked up a little bit around the eyes as well. He's never been cut. He is now. He's got a little nick over one eye.
Stop boxing! Sort out.
Past the midway point of the final round for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship.
Well, you got the feeling they could fight another 12 rounds. It wouldn't be any different. It'd be the whole thing.
With the exception of the eye.
Yeah, southpaws are always very awkward, and this is a very quick and awkward southpaw, so you have to feel for Starie. If you're a fighter who's orthodox, know what kind of difficulty he's going through with the punches and the counters.
Okay, no shots, no shots.
Less than a minute remaining in the 12th round.
Oh. Many good ex-champions around tonight. One of my favorites, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, was a left-hander, was from Boston, and nobody in the world wanted to fight him. What great fights he put on.
One of the all-time greats.
I believe he won the title over here in England, didn't he? Against
With Alan
Alan
Minter. We met him in the lobby today, Bob.
Now living in Italy.
Is Marvelous Marvin, not Alan Minter.
20 seconds to go in the fight. Joe Calzaghe was looking to put on a good show here under the spotlight of a worldwide American audience. And unfortunately for him, it did not happen. He'll win this fight convincingly, but not in exciting fashion. And you could hear it in the background. That punctuates what I said. The ringside physician checking the right eye of David Starie. These guys are friends. They go back to the amateur days. But unfortunately for the crowd here and for the crowd tuning in, they fought like friends, not like adversaries for the most part. So we await the decision. Not much mystery here. Joe Calzaghe of Wales en route to retaining his WBO Super Middleweight title. Coming up next, and of course this is why we're here as we await the decision of the first fight. Mike Tyson in his European debut against Englishman, British heavyweight champion, a guy given basically no chance, Julius Francis, in our main event. It's a non-title heavyweight bout. Calzaghe looking to make his 5th successful title defense and remain undefeated. He would lift his record to 28-0 with a W here, remaining with the 23 knockouts. Meanwhile, England's David Starie looks to be unsuccessful in his first world title shot. The British and Commonwealth Super Middleweight champ would slip to 22-2. His only other loss a few years ago to a fighter named Dean Francis. And what's in the future for Calzaghe? Well, word is New Jersey's Omar Shika could be next in line. Calzaghe said he's having trouble staying at the weight, would prefer to move up to 175. His dream fight with unified light heavyweight champion Roy Jones Jr. and as Bertie and Bobby pointed out, Roy Jones, after seeing this, chomping at the bit. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Mickey Van, scores the bout 116-113. Judge Billy Lurch sees the bout 118-110. And judge at ringside, Roberto Ramirez, scores the bout 120-108. All three in favor of the winner and still champion, the undefeated Joe Calzaghe.
He got the victory, but the crowd very displeased by the lackluster, uninspired performance. And who's the judge that called it 116-113? Was that Mickey Van?
That's from England, Mickey Van.
Yeah, from
England.
Leeds.
He must have had relatives in both camps.
No, because the others were more disparate as expected. 118, 110,
I had
120,
118, 110 was pretty clean.
119, 109.
Yeah, those are all reasonable.
But Mickey Van, for some reason, from England, saw it closer, 116-113. He had the right guy winning, though, Joe Calzaghe.
Just spit it right in there. Don't worry about it. Drop your hands. Be sharp. Change your angle. Give him that, hey, come on. That snappier punch. So you saw the